couple of years ago, I met a guy who has now become a good friend of mine. He lives down in Houston, Texas. He's a Marine. Saw a lot of action in Fallujah, in combat. Saw some pretty awful stuff and came home with a severe case of PTSD. One day he decided to end his own life, and he put a 9mm gun to his temple, pulled the trigger, and nothing happened. All he heard was click. As I got to know him and got to know his story, he felt encouraged to send me the bullet that didn't go off, and I keep it on my desk every day as a reminder of how important life is. He sent me a letter about this bullet, and he says, I don't know why it didn't go off. He said, maybe it's so this conversation could occur. I didn't know why I held on to that round until our discussion the other night. To me, it's evil. It's the end of my life, and someone saw otherwise. I hope, I pray that you can talk to people, military or civilian, who are dealing with this and remind them that even I, as a vet, as a combat Marine, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but it's a sign of strength. He said, even to this day, the demons still try to come. They still try to taunt and harass me. I guess I just go back to quitting is not an option. Is my mind right today? Mostly. Still mad, still sad, missing the ones that didn't make it home. So what's next? How do I honor them? To be honest, I'm still trying to figure out how to live a healthy, honest life. This 9mm round still has a dimple in the back where the firing pin hit the bullet and it didn't go off. His life is a miracle. And on the day that he pulled the trigger, he immediately grabbed his phone, racing with adrenaline, because at that point in time, he couldn't believe he was still alive. He picked up his phone to call his wife, and when he did, he saw on Facebook a guy in a cowboy hat sitting in his truck talking about life and about self-worth. The messages he saw were about a $20 bill, in which I said, no matter what this $20 bill has been through, it still has worth because a higher authority gave it to it. And if I gave it to you, you wouldn't ask about its history, whether it was used to buy drugs or use drugs or buy sex or prostitution, human trafficking, or even a terroristic act. You wouldn't care because even though this thing may be crumpled, wrinkled, stepped on, and dirty and ripped, it still has value, regardless of what it's been through, because a higher authority gave it to it and said it so. So I encourage you to remember that you too, regardless of what your past says or what you've been through, that your life has value, your life has worth, and regardless of the scars and the stains, the depression and the sadness, you still have meaning in life. And I hope that through this episode of Humor Me, you've been encouraged to believe it. I love y'all. God bless.